Hey, that's an M4. I'm Matt Wade, and you're watching Supercars of Philadelphia. Okay, we aren't in Philadelphia, but we're nearby, BMW Turnersville. In New Jersey, about 15 minutes from the Walt Whitman Bridge. You know, the Auto Mall, Penske Auto Mall, with all the cool cars, particularly the cool BMWs, that place. That's where we're at. All right, I get it, I'll get to the point. You're pondering. Just another BMW, They all look so alike, don't they? Wrong. Absolutely wrong. Before you comment below, whatever you amped up computer wizard ninjas type about, we can't superficially judge here. Yet as much as I love BMW's traditionally aggressive look, the M4 certainly is no M3, from the outside at least. It's an M4. With that being said, cue the investigation. So, what makes the M4 so special? Well, like most M vehicles, carbon fiber components replacing regular 4 Series situations. Yeah, it looks delightful. You can't see most of the carbon fiber that's used in place, except for the shillings that we have on the interior right here. But its purpose isn't to look pretty. It's to shed weight. Engine brace, trunk lid, roof, drive shaft, all being carbon fiber. Improved stiffness, reduces weight about 40% compared to our Fraulein predecessor. My first impressions of the vehicle after being in it for just a couple minutes. I deem this most urgent. Let's get it over with. Listen, drop the phobia, leave your ego at home. We get it. You need to tightly grip cylindrical items when you want to get excited. This DCT may not be as fun as banging through a gearbox, which, trust me, I know, it is desirable. Yet the dual clutch transmission systems BMW has been using it's pristine. So get over yourself and embrace the unfortunately fortunate future. It's fun to drive, yet predictable when all of the driving and traction aids are on. So let's get those off. I don't recommend just going raw and getting rid of all the assistance. To everyone, not implying it's deadly, just might be mildly unpredictable for the average person on unfamiliar roads. Take advantage of all the settings that you have offered to you when you need them. Why would you not take advantage of all the settings you have available to you to adjust between every option you have? We have multiple driving modes, comfort, sport plus, all that stuff. And if it's raining, I'm not going to be driving the same way as I would if it's snowing, or if it's dry out, or if it's 22 degrees like it is right now. The M adaptive suspension makes an awesome difference compared to the base M4, which cooperates exceptionally well with M dynamic mode settings. Not taking away from that, it's just there's so many options you have. You can be in a track mode, or you can just stay out of a track mode. So thanks, competition pack. I appreciate that. I feel like I'm going to be appreciating a lot from this competition pack. Overall, steering and handling is a total win with this car. Like I said, it's so adjustable. You can go from boringly safe and controlled to raw, uncontrollable, unpredictable, not knowing what's going to happen in a matter of commanding just a few buttons. That's not a negative thing. I'm not saying that in any negative way. It's actually really, really cool that I can customize my car to fit me. All the people saying all the negative things about these cars, I don't think they're adjusted correctly. Don't get me wrong, not everyone's gonna love this car. Onto the exterior. Similar dimensions to the M3, almost identical, but come on. Who wore it better? Let's be real. The M3 looks so much more aggressive when considering the rear of the car. Just 0.3 inches wider without the mirrors taken into account, just shy of 2 inches. I think it's like 1.7 or 1.6, I'm pretty sure it's 1.7 inches taller. As twin-like as these two are, still totally different. Something about that M3, just the way the cabin curves in. Oh, it's great. The wheels are even the same size. Well, these are, again, because of the competition pack. We'll get to that soon. Now, remember, this is no circumlocution of me trying to troll the M4. It's subjective. Some may like the look of the sedan better, some like Audi, some like Mercedes, some don't like BMW at all. You're crazy, but, you know, I don't want to be opinionated, even though that's the point of this video, is for me to be opinionated. I like how it's a coupe. I do. I'm not a big fan of sedans. You can tell that in my GSF video, because that's an awesome car. I'm just not huge on the fact that it's got 4 doors. It makes it look kind of fat. The Grand Coupes BMW produces definitely satisfy me way more than a Lexus GSF. By comparing the M4 to the likes of the RS5, the RCF, the C63 AMG, the answer is obvious for me. Just don't bathe my M4 in glossy honey mustard and we'll be fine. Just kidding, but Austin Yellow Metallic, personally, it's not my color. Not my color. Whew, it's cold out here. Heated seats are working really well. The competition pack employs a black grille M4 badge on the tail, and the quad exhaust tips are all blacked out. All are visually distinguishing the competition package car from other M4s that do not have the option. There's some other things that distinguish it as well too that we'll get to. The front of this car is aggressive and low. It seems a lot of the definition is repetitive, but I'm enjoying it. Onto the wheels and tires. Base model has forged aluminum 18 by 9s in the front, 255, also 18 by 10 in the rear. It's 275 behind us. The competition pack, which is what is on this vehicle, that instills the lightweight competition wheels. They're forged, machine polished, weight and rigidity optimized, multi-spoke 20-inch M alloy wheels. They look awesome. They're of the similarly tantalizing design as those found on the M4GTS, but 0.5 inches narrower, silver rather than black, and without the crazy orange accents, which, don't kill me. Comment below if you really like that, but I'm not huge on the orange accents. It looks cool. It looks different. It definitely differentiates the car from other vehicles and models. I like crazy though, so I could get used to it if I had the car, if I had to. Add 2 inches to the diameter and 10 millimeters to the width for these wheels. You're looking at 20 inches by 9 and 10 inches by 10, 265 in the front, 285 in the back behind us. Performance. Why not get to the performance? Yeah. What causes a 752 on the Nürburgring? So in the 3,530 pound F82 chassis, we're stocked up with a 3-liter twin turbo V6. I don't mean to sound robotic. My vote's in for natural aspiration, but you can't go wrong with the turbo, especially in 23-degree weather like this. It's not gonna kill me. Mass produced that with longitudinal rear-wheel drive 7-speed DCT or 6-speed manual. If you can recall me complaining about that weak turbo in the M235 video that I just recently posted, not up in here. This setup really knows how to get after it. It's really nice. It's really aggressive. Just no turbo lag, good punches. It's a fun setup, and it's a fast setup too. It's not just like the 2 Series being fun and quick, debatably quick, but M4 gets it done. Obviously that was an MPA vehicle, this is a M4 M vehicle. You're looking at 425 horsepower with the competition pack, bump that up to 444. M4 GTS, when water injected, hits about 493, sitting at 406 for the base models of torque, and competition pack, I think we're somewhere up around 410 range foot-pound torque. Top speed, looking at 163 miles per hour, 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds with the manual, 3.7 with this these Toys R Us paddles. I shouldn't make that joke because they do feel really nice. They're plastic. They have a little bit of a metal feel to them. They might. With that being said, we got it in 3.68 today. Timed on a phone. Pretty accurate. So that's convenient. Now, it's about 23 degrees out. We built up traction on the wheels. Got them slightly warmer. Had the wind going with us, so that would have an asterisk on the little paperwork if this was an actual timed thing, but that's an unofficial number. 3.7, 3.68, maybe they round up, I don't know. I feel like they would round down for that kind of stuff, but it is what it is. Something to be aware of, yet about 6% of you humans watching this probably actually care. Ramping out 17 miles per gallon in the city, 26 on the highway. There you go. Happy? Comment below if you're excited. Oh yeah, you. Also, we got a fuel tank that holds 16 gallons of gasoline, in case you're wondering. So I just threw all these performance numbers out at you. What stops that? Well, M compound brakes have a gray cast friction ring and a floating arrangement which is connected by pins to the aluminum brake cover. As temperature increases, the pin assembly is able to expand freely in a radial direction, subsequently cooling down again without any residual deformation. This connecting system has been in use since the second gen of the M3 E36. Different with the new F80-82, fixed caliper brakes are fitted to the front and rear axles, 4 pistons at the front, 2 in the rear. Predecessors had heavy single piston sliding calipers. I'd recommend, and BMW does as well, drivers should be more restrained in their driving for their first tank of fuel and avoid maximum deceleration wherever safely possible. If you need to not get in an accident because you need to brake hard, I'd weigh those two out there. Now, why, you might be asking, did I just say that? It concerns the bedding of the brake linking on the friction ring. Both surfaces need to adjust to each other. Moreover, the 20 micrometer thick, that's thin, crosshatch of new brake discs wears away and supports the bedding of the new brake pad on the new disc. You don't want to cause any issues. Occasionally, if you're really getting on the car, you'll see slight cracks. Micro cracks are subject to form when relatively cold. Unused discs are suddenly subject to heavy load, basically emergency stops, or going really fast and then getting on the brakes. Cracks limit to surface areas, so say you've been driving your car fully laden on the highway for an extended period without braking and then are worked in to perform an emergency braking maneuver. The brake discs will go near molten in a slim line of time. Temp can increase from 20-ish degrees to 450. Just take note of that. Once won't do much, yet if the brake disc is required to behave this way consistently, it's possible for surface cracks to form in cast material of the friction ring, specifically near perforation holes. In sports cars, cracks like these are more than anything a sign that they are being subjected to the use for which they're intended and designed for. Don't cry, no negative effect on the service life of your brake discs or its braking performance. When it is time to change the brake pad, it is also necessary for the dealer to inspect the brake disc. A new sport pad will be available under the witty name of M Performance Sport Brake Pad. This was developed directly alongside the new brakes. Life expectancy of these pads is considerably longer at high temperatures that typically occur on the track. The standard pad can display a drop in friction coefficient at high temperatures. Brake fade. The friction coefficient value of sport pads is far more stable. In general, operational noise can generate with any high performance brake under certain driving conditions. However, with sport pads, we do without any form of comfort factor in the car components. We don't really mind. Look at the 911R. Which means that considerable braking noise is simply a fact of life for people who spec them. So keep that in mind. If you want quiet, yeah, you might not want those. Just saying. Sport pads are more expensive and act aggressively on the brake discs. Disc wear is several times higher than that of the standard brake pads. I believe BMW requires every time a set of sport pads is fitted, new discs also have to be installed, thus offering sport pad kits consisting of the actual pads plus required discs. Now my last point, I don't want to make this segment of the brakes too long, but bear with me here. Cool down laps on the track are important. It is so critical to allow material in the brake components time to cool down via airstream while you're driving. Go park your car while temperatures near 500 degrees are still milk mustaching on your brake discs. Satan will be transferred throughout the entire brake system. You don't want that. The pads will absorb energy from the hot brake discs. Heat transfer progresses through the back plate and damping plates of standard pads into the brake calipers. In addition to the damping layer of the damping plates, the piston seals and dust shields can also be damaged. This makes quite the unique noise at times, as can the surface coating of the brake calipers. They can also get damaged. Leaving brakes to cool stationary is easy but less than desirable when brake discs are at a temperature of up to 500 degrees. Executing a cool down, you may find brake temperatures generally falling below 200 degrees when you do a cool down lap. Have some respect for your noble steed, you peasant. Normally such temperatures don't occur when subjecting the vehicle to normal use. We're talking about track use. It would be necessary to perform several braking maneuvers in rapid succession. That's the only time a cool down lap's needed. You don't need to do a cool down lap on your drive home from work unless you're really getting after it. From full speed to stationary before any of these levels would be reached, you're fine. If you're on a track, cool it down. If you're going hard, cool it down. If you're doing illegal stuff, I don't encourage that. And don't get anxiety over this. You're not going to reach this level of hot braking in stop and go traffic. Just don't rear end anyone. The exhaust sounds good. Exhaust sounds good. It sounds better when you're driving the car than it actually does when you're just... Cold starts aren't really much of a thing. It still sounds good, but it doesn't sound great because the vehicle has a refinement system, a safety system, so it doesn't allow the car to go over a certain amount of RPMs. It eventually goes away. And now that we're done talking about brake pads for 6 years, I could get lost in a symphonic coma of exhaust notes from this car. Let's get into some steering and handling. The chassis changes offer a more compelling reason to pay the extra for the competition package, and that's despite making the ride even firmer in what was already a firmly suspended car. But I present to you, it's imaginary, it's actually not, it's on the car, but like I can't show you. Actually, I can show you. I present to you the $5,500 5500 competition pack. What does this include? We've already discussed the minor increases on performance and small details. It's not noticeably worth it if you're just daily driving this car, in my opinion. BMW at Turnersville actually, every M4 they have, they spec with a competition pack, which is awesome. They always have great specs on their car. I say if you live in Philly or anywhere in the area, out of state, this is where you want to go. They're one of the top rated M dealers in the country. It looks great. Due to the wheels and black accents, it might not be noticeable driving though. So if you're driving it just for the car and you don't want to be flashy, or not, it's not really flashy, but if you don't want to look more aggressive, pick and choose. I feel the competition pack's totally worth it for what you get. Modern day factory tuning is getting ballistic everywhere for the better, so thanks big motor companies, I appreciate that. Although speed is not exactly the point of the competition pack, like I said, precision and agility is. Primarily BMW struck the car with such a regimen that none other than Hugh Jackman, yes, Wolverine himself, has been exposed to. It's as if they amassed the M4 competition pack amongst a Marine Corps drill sergeant for 12 months and forged a born-again discipline for this vehicle. So what is noticeably worth it? The competition pack includes the adaptive M suspension, like I said, with rear axle air springs, rates that are 50% stiffer, upgraded dampers, and more twist-resistant anti-roll bars. Ooh, that just sounds cool. Software settings for the various switchable dynamics systems are also reconfigured, effectively improving each focus point. Comfort is the equivalent of the standard M4 Sport mode. Sport is in line with the regular car's Sport Plus, and the competition package's Sport Plus calibration is for the anyone who eats leather for breakfast crowd. Don't eat your interior. This is too nice. Updated dynamic stability control. Look, if you're a subscriber, which if you aren't, you should subscribe below, you know how I feel about handicap driving aids. All this assistance does elect the car to be a tad predictable. if you cage yourself inside of it too much. Learn how to find the setting you prefer most. There's likely one on here. Most talking negatively about the car's steering and handling have not taken the time to break down each option and find what they like best for the situation they're in at that time. Whether it be weather differences or variables in anything. There's a lot of variables that come into play, and if I daily drove this car, I'd be using different modes all the time. Now, driving is the end game. The base M4 is a common convict of the hype that it's designed purely for the track use, but this caffeinated suspension, works impressively well on public pavement. Default comfort mode is noticeably firmer, but the revised dampers manage bumps better than the base options. Sport Plus does feel more firm than the desired application for road use, unless you're adamant on testing your dental work, yet there's declaration of additional dimensions whilst amongst the circuit. And I just stalled in an automatic car. So now we can get to the pretty parts of the vehicle, the interior. I'm not gonna lie, when configuring this car on BMW's website, bmwusa.com, it doesn't do its justice once you see it in person. This is awesome. I love everything about this interior. I would totally buy this car if I was looking for a two-door coupe and didn't want a supercar but wanted something that had the performance aspects of things. Ooh, this has a fair shot. This has a real fair shot. I love the interior. The first and least important thing I'd like to state, which I feel being the first thing I'm bringing to light, may emit a different implication. Remember how I was whining that Lexus needs to do something cool with their seat belts? Well, BMW does, if you can see that. Little M colorations right there, stitched in. That'll make me shut up. That's all I need. I don't need anything else. Slight accents, I like that. I also like the solid colors, even if it's an aggressive orange seatbelt in a car. Between the competition seats, we have these lightweight sports seats. Ooh, it's awesome. I love these seats. Black merino leather with silver stitching is available by special request. Otherwise, the only change in the cabin is that the package deletes the standard lumbar support for the heated sports seats. Do people even use lumbar support? Comment below if you do. I've never adjusted. I've never needed to adjust it. It doesn't hurt me. I've tried to. Like, I've experienced it, and I just don't notice anything good coming from it. With the competition pack, you've got options. About $950 to $3,500 worth of seating options, to be exact. You won't go wrong either way. These are honestly the most comfortable, track-oriented seats I have ever experienced, and I have sat in a lot of vehicles. It's really cool the way they look as well. Not much compromise there for comfort over functionality. It's awesome. BMW, I'd give you a 10 out of 10 on these seats. They're perfect, perfect. The regular seats you find in an M3 or an M4 base, they're still awesome. My boy Joe Parker has an M3 that will be making a debut on the channel. The base seats aren't bad, but these are just so much better. We do have a little heads-up display. Let's talk about the cluster. It leaves a little to be desired. The cluster isn't amazing. We have all these gauges. Everything's very refined and smooth. It looks good. There's a small digital window for the cluster. If you put this up against some of the clusters you have in the R8 or some other vehicles, it's not gonna win any awards here. The cluster is very refined and simple. It's not that aggressive. There's nothing too crazy going on about it. Radio and infotainment. All M4s come standard with Harman Kardon surround sound. I remember the Harman Kardon speakers in my first car, my E36. They sucked. Maybe it's just because it was a 1998, but these are relatively much better, smoother. I doubt my mic will pick up any of the sound and give you a good impression of it, so just take my word for it. High resolution 3D map display. That may be why we're so simplistic with the cluster, because you have this huge half of an iPad stuck into the dash right there. Of course, we're outfitted with the ever so lovely iDrive setup for infotainment. I shall highlight iDrive in a separate video. since time is of the essence, and I already talked about brakes for 35 minutes. I know you're all quite busy watching the internet right now. Trunk space. Let's talk about space, just overall interior space. Trunk space is about 11 cubic feet. You can fit so much in there, and the back seats fold down. You can throw in snowboard, skis, people, TVs, whatever. Now, as nice as the interior looks, it's spacious. You have huge back seats back there. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised, because from the outside of the car, it doesn't look like you have a cabin like that, but I guess the way everything slopes inward, it just works. Cool. So, superb attention to detail there, BMW. I commend you. Now, I may not be a total sucker for the M4's exterior, albeit an aesthetically pleasing beast. There's a slight bit to be desired. I don't have an issue with the body, but once my eyes have been tricked by that wide body optical illusion with the M3, I'm not convinced I could go back. I don't know. This car would make an awesome daily driver, but I would need some type of midway point. The styling of the M3 just looks so good. It's like comparing a Raptor to a regular F-150, except the Raptor is actually like larger and wider, better, awesome. Don't worry, I'll never make another Ford to BMW analogy ever again, I think. But I'm impressed with the direction we're going in. Sure, I prefer a manual transmission over this dual clutch transmission. DCT is an amazing alternative. It really is. The shifts are so quick. There's no delay. It comes right in as soon as you need it. Fixed paddles sometimes throw me off a little. It is something you have to get used to. I am excited for what's to come with this clandestine M3 coupe. Sorry, I meant to say M4. I swear. At the end of the day, when factoring everything I've just experienced and verbally delivered into your brains, solid car, not a bad daily driver. If you don't need a massive space, you want predictable, there's a setting for that. You want to get aggressive and test limits, deactivate all the driving aids. There's your setting for that. You want an obedient track car? Yep, setting for that. You might want to think about upgrading your treads if you're going to daily drive this car and you drive in 20-degree weather. That's just my thought on there, because you have no tread. It's just race car stuff. Taking into account the interior comfort, function, aesthetics compared to the competitors, BMW is offering quite the competitive package here. Buddy. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you agree or disagree with anything I've just covered, drop me a comment down below and I'll tend to any questions, comments, concerns. Follow me on Instagram and on the Facebook page. That's Supercars of Philadelphia, no spaces for Instagram. Facebook page, just type in Supercars of Philadelphia as you regularly would. Snapchat, M_TT Wade. My name, first letter, well, the first A is replaced with an underscore because someone stole my name. Twitter, Supercars of PHL. Do your boy a favor and get your mouse to click that thumbs up, the little thumbs up down below. Share this video on that Facebook at Chiboha. Yeah, with all your friends. And maybe tag one or two of ye fellow M enthusiasts as well. This is a great car. Till next time, my people, keep putting out that work.